Ho ho ho! Welcome to me talking about a D&D build, but on Christmas this time. I'm not wearing a Christmas jumper. I did that already. I'm not wearing it ahead of Christmas. You can't make me. I already did that in the past with the one-shot wonders thing. Anyway, I'm here today to give you a Christmas gift in the form of a build which ends up doing 300 damage in a round, if everything hits. Average damage. No crits included. It's pretty silly. It's by far and away the strongest build I've made. It's not using that much third-party stuff. It's also very cool conceptually because at some point you get to be a wizard using a greatsword while bladesinging. And I just think that's neat. So should we get to it? As you can see, the build here is called the rather inventive Big Sword. Let's go through the stats and we'll go back. So, we have a 13 strength because we're going to be taking a feat which ups it by 1, so we may as well keep it an odd number, and we need 13 to use the greatsword we will eventually be using anyway. Dex of 8, we do not need it, and I know what you're thinking, but Jason, you need Dex for AC. Wrong. You're wrong, and I'll show you why in a minute. Con of 16, Intelligence of 17, Wisdom and Charisma of 10. We are going for Wolven, which is a Grim Hollow species, which gives us a bunch of stuff, including the ability to add an extra 30 feet of speed for one turn with no action required. We get an ability to let someone else make an attack or saving throw with advantage, and we also get a number of d8s equal to our proficiency bonus we can add to both attack rolls and damage rolls. We can get proficiency bonus for all of those features and then recharge at a long rest, so it's very solid. I'm not really going to be factoring in the d8s from this into my damage, but I will do in the last level because it bumps us up to 300. So I want to hit a nice round number, you know? It's not quite round. We'll get there. For our background, we are going Experiment from the Crooked Moon. Thank you, Avantris Entertainment, for one of the strongest intelligence-themed features going, because it lets us take, among other things, natural armor, which lets us use our Constitution modifier plus 13 as our AC. Which means we are starting off with a 16 AC with no equipment whatsoever and no mage armor needed. As Bladesingers can no longer wear armor, it is very nice to have 13 as your baseline, and it stops us ever needing to cast mage armor. We just don't need to, which is neat. Obviously, as this is a Bladesinger build, we're starting fighter, so sue me. I also watch D&D Deep Dive. This is the correct way to do things. Plus, we need to be able to actually use the greatsword. And while the blade singing subclass does give us access to a bunch of melee weapons, it does not give us access to any of the heavy weapons, which means we can't use the greatsword, so we need to pick up that proficiency elsewhere. There are other ways of doing that. There are species options you can take, but I like this way the most, because why wouldn't you want to start fighter anyway? We're going for the dueling fighting style, because our main aim is to be using a weapon in one hand, which is what we'll be doing with a long sword to begin with, and then a greatsword once we hit level 5, as you'll see. And we're also going to take weapon mastery in the greatsword, the longsword, and whatever you want, just because. At level 1, our damage is respectable enough, 7.5, but with a shield we also have an AC of 18 already, and that's without armor. That's not bad at all. Level 2, we are immediately going over to Wizard. We will be back to Fighter later. Action Surge is simply too tasty to resist. And there are a bunch of spells you need to consider at this level. The only relevant level 1 spell we're going to be using is Accelerate Decelerate, which lets us take a reaction to add 2d6 to our attack once per turn. Obviously, we only have one reaction. And the number goes up by 1d6 for every spell slot above first level. We will be generally casting this with one of our highest level spell slots, as it adds a lot of damage to one of our attacks. And that's our aim here. It's just Nova damage, baby. In terms of cantrips, we need a few, which is fine, because we're a wizard. We want True Strike because it lets us attack with our intelligence, because last time we weren't attacking with our intelligence, we were attacking with our strength, which is why the damage number was terrible, and also not a great chance to hit. And then you either want Vengeful Blade or Booming Blade. They do the same thing, but Vengeful Blade is necrotic damage, and it activates when the target you've hit attacks, not when they move. We're not planning on moving, so it means that they're less likely to move. This lets us get the damage out in a more comfortable way. It adds 1d8 when they attack, and as it scales up, it adds a d8 to both the initial attack and then also the damage they take when they try to attack. So we get an extra 2d8, which is lovely. All of that in mind, this bumps our damage up to 16.5, because we're doing 1d8 for the longsword, 1d8 for Vengeful Blade, +3 for actually using our intelligence modifier now, and +2 for the dueling fighting style, which is lovely. We're then going to go Wizard 2. Nothing really happens here. Damage stays the same. We get an expertise. That's it. Level 3, lots happens here. We're going to go Bladesinger, because that's the whole point. We get Blade Song. As a bonus action, you invoke an elven magic called the Blade Song, provided you aren't wearing armor or using a shield. We have to drop the shield, alas. The Blade Song lasts for a minute and ends early if you have the incapacitated condition, if you don armor or a shield, or if you use 2 hands to make an attack with a weapon. You can dismiss the Blade Song at any time. While it's active, you can gain a bonus to your AC equal to your intelligence modifier. Oh look, we have an AC of 19. We didn't need the shield after all. You also get advantage on your acrobatics checks. Whenever you attack with a weapon in which you have proficiency, which we do have, we can use our intelligence instead of our strength, which is lovely because we no longer need to use Vengeful Blade, which is great. Right, yes. We used True Strike at last level to attack with our intelligence, and then we did 1d8 plus 2d6 for the Accelerate Decelerate. I have attempted to do this video several times, and it hurts my brain. I think I'm just overworked. It's fine. Anyway, we also get to add our intelligence to our Constitution modifier, and because we have a proficiency in con saves, because we started Fighter, our con saves are fantastic at this point. We also get a skill. It doesn't matter. What does matter is second level spells. Second level spells means we can upcast Accelerate, Decelerate, but it also means we can use Magic Weapon. This is also a bonus action, which is a pain, but it lasts for an hour. And I reckon if you give your DM enough pizza and chocolate, they'll let you activate this as fights start. Do that. Bribe your DM. Send me food. Magic Weapon gives us a +1 chance to hit and a +1 damage. It basically turns the weapon into a magic weapon, hence the name. That's why it's called that. That's a will bit, right? D&D shorts bit. Yeah. Anyway, we also get to upcast our Accelerate Decelerate to the next levels. We're getting an extra d6 on that too. And because we can now use Vengeful Blade, we're doing 1d8 for the long sword, 1d8 for the Vengeful Blade, 3d6 for the Accelerate Decelerate, +4, +3, which is our stat, +1, which is the magic weapon, +2 for dueling. We're doing an average of 25.5 damage at this point at level 3, so that's a nice little bump. But it gets better. Worry not. It gets better. It gets so much better. This build's stupid. We get an ASI at level 5, which is nice. So we're going to go for Brutal Grip, which bumps our strength up to 14. Technically speaking, no. Brutal Grip bumps our strength up to 14, and it also allows us to wield a melee weapon with a two-handed property in one hand, which is why we can now use a greatsword to attack. This is a modest damage buff. 1d8 is 4.5, 2d6 is 7. So it's a 2.5 average damage buff. It obviously makes crits more fun, and it means we get to roll more dice too. So you're not going to be missing out on the fireball levels of dice rolling if that's what you're here for. More importantly, because we can use the greatsword in one hand, we can still use it for a Blade Song, which is fantastic. The stat isn't especially relevant, which is a shame, but hey, that's that. Oh, also, because we're level 5, our cantrip goes up in damage by 2d8 as well, which means that at this level, we're doing 2d6 for the weapon, 3d8 for Vengeful Blade, 3d6 for Accelerate, Decelerate, and then a +6 modifier with all the various bonuses we have. So we're doing an average of 37 damage now, which is a tasty little boost. At level 5, we get third level spells, which is nice. We're going to bump both our Accelerate, Decelerate, and our magic weapon up to the next level, because at level 3, we get an extra d6, obviously, from Accelerate, Decelerate, which is nice, but more importantly, we get a magic weapon gives +2 now instead of +1, so we go to a +5 modifier basically, +7 including dueling. So we're going up to 41.5 damage at this turn, at this level, which isn't nothing. Level 6 is a fairly lovely boost in damage because we got our extra attack, and we can replace one of those attacks with a cantrip, and we will be doing that with Vengeful Blade, which means we're doing 2 attacks, one of 41.5 as previously mentioned, and one of 14 because it's just 2d6 +5 +2, which is still very strong. We get the big one. Level 7 is the big one. Look, you can't do, legally, you cannot do a Bladesinger build without having Conjure Minor Elementals, which adds 2d8 to our attacks. So you can't not have that. This is a big boost in damage, as it turns out. So we're going to be casting Conjure Minor Elementals at level 4, and we're doing Magic Weapon and Accelerate Decelerate at level 3 for this turn. It's worth noting that at this point now, you are juggling a fair few spell slots, right? This would be turn 2, potentially. If you do magic weapon before combat, conjure minors on the first turn of combat, and then you want to do accelerate, decelerate as your reaction. I know it's messy, not ideal. I'm not saying you should play this build. I think it'd be fun. I think your DM would hate you, or probably finish your character off. But yeah. You need more pizza. Give them more pizza. They'll be fine. Anyway, this bumps our damage up to 73.5 through various dice, which is a lot. At wizard level 8, which is level 9 in total, we're going to take Warcaster. I don't like Warcaster. I think it's really boring, but it boosts our intelligence score and it gives us advantage on our constitution saving throws, and it also means that we're at an 18 now for our int, so we get another +1 modifier. It means that our con saves are now proficiency bonus plus con bonus plus int bonus when we're blade singing as well, and we have advantage on those. You are going to struggle to drop concentration. You're going to have to actively try to drop concentration, it's only a moderate boost to our damage though, but we can use a 4th level slot now for accelerate decelerate, so we are now doing 79 damage on average. This is also when at level 10 we will be going back to fighter because we get action surge, which means we can attack more. So our damage goes from 79 at level 9, a very respectable 140.5 on average. At level 10, this is normal and fine. Level 9 wizard, which is level 11 in total, which means our cantrip goes up by another 2d8, which is very tasty. Also means we can upcast conjure minor elementals to level 5, accelerate decelerate level 4, and then magic weapons to level 3, which means that our damage goes up to 176.5, assuming we're action surging, which you should do if you are novering, because otherwise what are you doing? That's your max damage output. Well, that's your average max damage output, which is a sentence, which makes sense. Level 12, which is level 10 for our little wizard. We get Song of Defense, which is a nice defensive boost. You can use a reaction. We don't have a reaction. You can't. I didn't say you'd be staying alive for this build. You're pretty tanky though. You're pretty hard to hit. And your con's 16, which is nice. Anyway, level 12, the damage goes up slightly, because we are upcasting accelerate decelerate by 1 spell, so we're getting an extra 3.5 damage, which puts us up to 179. Level 13 is wizard 11. This lets us upcast conjure minor elementals again and puts us up to 195.5 damage. At wizard level 12, we're just going to take the ASI to boost our intelligence to 20. There's no reason to be anything fancy. You could take something else if you wanted. I'm keeping it simple. This puts us up to 199.5 damage in total, which is lovely. Wizard level 13, it means we have access to level 7 spell slots, which means we can upcast conjure minor elementals to level 7, accelerate decelerate at level 6, and magic weapons still at a very modest level 3, which boosts our damage up to 217.5 on average, which is nice. You're doing 4 attacks at this point as well, so even without boosts to your crit range, your crit rate is still not bad. So a single crit, especially if you crit on the one where you do all the extra stuff on, is a lot of extra damage. It's a lot of dice. Level 16, which is level 14 for our wizard, gives us a pretty large boost in damage because it gives us an extra attack. Song of Victory used to let you add your intelligence modifier to your attacks, and instead now reads if you cast a spell that has a casting time of an action, which a cantrip does, you can make 1 attack with a weapon as a bonus action. Gives us an extra attack. This means we're up to 254 damage in total now, which is very strong. And our final level for this build is level 15 wizard. This is another big one. This allows us to conjure minor elementals at level 8, accelerate decelerate at level 7, magic weapon at level 6 as well. So that's another +1 bonus to all of them, as well as an extra d8 on every single one, as well as an extra 2d8 on the first one because of cantrip, as well as an extra 1d6 because of accelerate decelerate. Your first attack on this turn, the big attack, does 94.5 damage. You then do a 44, another 44, a 66.5 because you do your special extra attack again, and a 44, which lands us at 293. However, at this level, we have a 6 proficiency bonus, so we can add a d8 to all 5 of those attacks quite comfortably. A d8 is 4.5 average damage, which times 5 is 22.5, which puts our average damage at this point up to 315.5. We also, at this point, have an AC of 21, a constitution saving throw of +15 with advantage, and the ire of whoever you're playing with, probably. But yeah, that's it. I'm probably never going to build a Bladesinger again, theory crafting wise, anyway. Obviously, this assumes you hit with every attack, and that's not guaranteed. I don't do the same thing that other people do, where they factor in average chance to hit. I should, but I just want to look at the dice because it's fun. Bladesinger is honestly so preposterously strong that it kind of makes me sad. It's easy enough to work around as a DM. You put creatures with counterspell, you use dispel magic, you have your creatures further away so they can't hit them, things like that. It's not that hard to avoid. But even after all of that, you're doing all of that damage with your attacks, right? I didn't choose any spells. I chose 3 spells, 5 if you include the 2 cantrips, right? You still have access to the entire library of wizard spells. So even if you're not doing this utter nonsense, and you could just do this nonsense once and then cast something else, and you're just doing a lot of stuff. Yeah, it's really strong, as it turns out. The way to probably go about that is then to hit wizard level 17. You go to wizard 17 and then your fighter 2, and then most likely take a 1 level dip back into fighter, probably for champion. So you get the E boosted crit range. A critical hit on your big attack, even at this level, results in nearly 200 damage average, which is silly. So yeah, that's it for me. You no longer have to suffer through this. I hope you haven't suffered. I hope you've had a really nice Christmas if you're watching this on Christmas Day. If you are watching this on that day, thank you so much for joining me. Consider this preposterous build my Christmas gift to you. And yeah, that's it, really. I'm kind of done nearly for the year video-wise. I've got the rest of them queued up, which is exciting. It's been a fun year of YouTubing. If you'll allow me to briefly look back on things at the end of this video, I've really enjoyed it. I am deeply thankful for all of the people that put up with my silly videos. And that's it. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your break. I hope the new year brings you a great amount of joy and good vibes and luck, because 2025 has been awful for a lot of people. And I really hope the next year is better for a lot of us. Thank you so much for watching. It means a huge amount. Like and subscribe if you want to. You don't have to. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.